What's good, peeps? Ouney Abbas in the building. Now, I say Ouney Abbas, you guys might not know the name, but you know the voice. I mean, he's done stuff for Seconds Out, he's done stuff for Behind the Glass, Fighthype. He's done some stuff now for pro boxing fans. He was Dylan White's guy as well for a little while. MMA guy as well as boxing guy, so we get on a lot. I've known Ouney for 6 years?
Yeah, at least.
I met him at a boxing event about 6 years ago, and he actually helped me out. And now he's here in the front room. In the studio.
Yeah, you know, it's been a long time, man.
We've been trying to arrange this for ages, and all of a sudden, coronavirus helps us out. There's no boxing events to cover. So it's like, Ouney, please come down, come and support the channel, and he's here supporting the channel.
It's a pleasure, Adi.
Thank you,
honestly
brother.
a pleasure. It's been, I think we've been talking about doing this for about a year, maybe about 18 months, possibly.
Honestly, yeah.
But wicked to be here. I've known you for a long time, man. Yeah. We've been in this journey together. Like,
it's crazy.
I feel like we've been in this journey together, and
yes,
I'm happy to see you doing what you're doing as well.
Thanks, brother, man. Honestly, you doing what you're doing as well. I'm always pressuring him. Look, I know he's worked for some of the biggest channels out there. I'm saying, Ouney, do your own thing. I'm always doing it, and I'm going to keep telling him. I'm going to keep fucking messaging you once every 4 or 5 months, just because I think he can do his own thing. I wouldn't be telling everyone to do this. Like, I think most people need to work for other channels, but I think he can do his own thing. He's interviewed every single boxer you can think of in the world, and he's done a good job interviewing them. How did you even get started doing all this?
It's crazy, man. Like, you had Umar here, and Umar's story is crazy.
Yeah,
like the fact that he was on a tube.
James held on the train.
That's my shit. But with me, boxing fan, being a boxing fan since I was a kid and whatever else, I was on Twitter. I was like, mate. The crazy thing was, me and my mate were actually sat out. Maybe about 2 months before I started working for Behind the Gloves, and I was like, mate, it'd be amazing to be sat ringside and doing stuff. Do you understand? Like, it was just a general conversation and whatever else. Next thing you know, I knew the managing editor for Behind the Gloves at that point. He needed someone to do in London. Spoke to him. He goes, send me some work, whatever else. This was written work though. Yeah. So I sent him some written pieces. I think the first piece I did for him was Scottish fighter. What's his name? Famous Ricky Burns for Crawford at that point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I did the sort of the fight report.
Gee, that is about 6 years ago.
Yeah. So basically I sent it to him, he's like, yeah, I like it, work for us. So I started doing all this written stuff for Behind the Gloves and stuff. Then it got to a point where I was like, all right, I need to know where this is going, because like, I'm doing quite a bit of work, and I was doing, mate, to be honest, you've got to do shit for free. That's life.
Yeah. People don't get that.
People are thinking you work in this industry and it's all happy days, and mate, people don't see all the stuff that we've had to do for free for years.
Yeah.
So anyway, I saw Michelle was coming down for Froch Groves to Wembley.
Okay.
So I was like, Michelle, obviously I've been writing for you guys for a long time. Let's sit down when you're here. Tell me what my future holds.
Yeah.
Michelle comes down, she goes, listen, I'll give you one better. I want you to help me out on fight week.
Oh.
Mate, my first fight week was Froch Groves out of Wembley.
What, in terms of first time interviewing people as well?
First time, like, I did phone interviews with like Carl Froch and people like that.
But the first time to camera?
Yeah, mate. So like, at the undercard press conference, I did the interviews, and mate, I went to the workout festival in Nottingham, interviewed like Adam Smith and stuff, and I was like, okay, I've done phone interviews, which is fine, but like, you know how it is the first time with a camera interview, you're facing these guys that you look up to, you know, like,
it's the hardest thing.
You watch them on Sky Sports, and you think, wow, these guys are like superstars and whatever else. So that was my first year, and it was crazy, man. Like 80,000. You know how he talks about, Carl Froch talks about the 80,000 at Wembley and whatever, big event, all the media around the world.
Would you like ringside for it then?
So basically, for fighting, I already had my ticket from time I bought it from. So I go to Michelle, listen, like, hopefully that day you do your thing, and I'll just enjoy it as a fan. To be honest, so I enjoyed it as a fan anyway. Michelle was like, yeah, whatever else, that was cool. But it was mad. So that was my first ever fight event.
That is crazy.
Honestly.
So not York Hall, Bethnal Green, not fucking any of the Frank Warren smaller shows. 80,000, Carl Froch, George Groves.
Bro, you know, it's been a blessing, man. Like I told you, this journey's been crazy. It's been crazy, man. But one thing I would say to people is, like, you've got to, to get into an industry like this, you've got to work for free at some point. At some point, nobody's going to pay you money to work in an industry like this initially.
I agree. Even me doing my thing, regardless of the boxing thing, I've done hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of free work, just to kind of get that experience and get that comfortable in front of the camera or whatever. I've just done free work radio, free work on TV. I've done free work abroad, where I've actually paid for myself to get on a flight to go abroad and do free work. That's so crazy.
But now look where you're sat. Like, all that work, all them 3, 4, 5 years of doing this stuff, eventually it gets you somewhere. You've just got to persevere with it. And so many people I've seen have come into the industry, and within like a year they've gone, I've seen many people come into the industry and go.
I'm about to say that. There's so many people, from when I first met Ouney, there's so many people that were doing the YouTube thing that have gone. Like, just disappeared. I don't even know. I've actually looked for their channels, they're not even there anymore. So, you, one of the dinosaurs, you survived. You survived, really, because, like, I don't remember, there was no Boxing Social back then.
No. Rob's a very good friend of mine, because Rob, I brought him into the industry. So me and Rob used to talk. Yeah. When I was out behind the gloves, I was the managing editor, so I had the role where if there was a fight somewhere in LA and Top Rank had the card, I used to send a person out there. Yeah. So I'd basically control the full team. So it was basically behind the gloves, there's like me and Michelle at the time. So I've got to thank Michelle for the opportunity. She brought me into the industry and whatever else. So thank you very much for that. But that was my role. So Rob was one of the guys I used to chat to quite often about boxing. We used to talk about boxing and stuff. So I go to Rob one time, I go, mate, like, why don't you just come into the industry, write a few fight reports, let me see how you get on. And Rob, you can see his work's very good. Like, he's a very good writer. He's a very good, like,
he puts everything together well, doesn't he?
He's really good. Like, he's very articulate. He can speak well. He can do it. So then I started sending him out to like your call shows and whatever. And he was just phenomenal, mate. Now, when I was leaving behind the gloves, I told Michelle as a recommendation, Rob Tebbett should be the guy to take over. And, he took over, he did his thing up behind the gloves, smashed it up. Yep, he did. Now he's at Boxing Social doing his thing. So,
smashing it out. They're close to getting 100,000, aren't they?
Man. So, like, I've seen people come and go, man. But it's always good to see people like yourself, people like Rob, people in the industry. My boy Raza, who got me into Fighthype. Yeah. Him doing well. He's working for IFL now. So it's good to see people doing well. And then, obviously, after Behind the Gloves, I went to Fighthype. Yep. 2 years there. Fighthype are a big name, man.
Massive. They, of all of them, haven't they got the most subscribers? Or is that Fight Hub?
Fight Hub.
Fight Hub, haven't it? Or any setback?
I don't even in count between any. There somewhere. Yeah. But when the American fighters used to come over and you sit Fighthype to them,
that you're getting the interview, guaranteed, no stress.
You're guaranteed access. It was crazy. So 2 good years at Fighthype. Yeah. Which were, thank you very much to the guy who owns it, Ben. Yeah. For giving that opportunity. But then now I just decided to go freelance, man. Yeah. Working at the moment with Seconds Out, Pro Boxing Fans, and whoever else contacts me. Rob's contacted me a few times. But whoever else contacts me.
Do you prefer it, freelance?
It's different. Yeah. At times like this, it's not the best thing because obviously boxing's off. But I like it, man. I like to know exactly what I'm doing, what sort of situation is. It's interesting. It's an interesting time at the moment.
Do you think of yourself as a YouTuber or a content creator?
A bit of both, man. Yeah. To be honest, like I'm not that YouTuber that stands in front of the camera and be like you're for me like a bit of everything.
Dude, like, I shit myself. Dude. Even people think I get comfortable. Even this, sometimes when I do that little piece to the cameras, sometimes it takes 15, 20 takes.
No way.
I'm not even joking. Like before, I don't know what it is. Before I could just go dum and start talking. And now, I don't know what it is. I think maybe I'm just getting tired of doing this to the camera. I prefer this now. Now it takes like 15, 20 takes just to get the first minute out. I'm like, oh fuck, mistake. Yeah. I'm still very nervous.
When I watch your stuff, I always think that's a one-take job. Finished.
Tell you guys, it isn't. It isn't. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I just sit down, boom, and go. But sometimes, I don't know, it just takes ages to get the content out. Especially because I don't really write stuff down. I just say what's on my head. It's sometimes
difficult.
You're
very much a sort of free thought type of person. You just
free thought.
You just get in front of
which gets me in trouble sometimes.
It would do. It would naturally. It would do. But
what about you? I'm about to ask. What about you? How does that work for you? Because you must have your own opinions of some fighters. So it must be difficult to separate your own opinion and then almost turn into Ouney professional.
The thing
is,
do a professional job. We're in an industry where I have to work with a lot of fighters. So like whatever I think about fighter A, I won't necessarily tell a lot of people. I wouldn't have to be honest. Like if I thought whatever of fighter A, that's my own opinion. My opinion doesn't generally matter, to be honest.
Yeah, they don't want to hear your opinion.
You know what I mean? So for me, whatever I think doesn't really matter. But like, yeah, it's one of them where I wouldn't really. I know there's a boundary that I'd never cross. Yeah. So it's just one of them, and like, I try to keep it as professional as I can because I talk to a lot of fighters. It's the truth. I've got good relationship with certain camps that if I ever needed to go into an interview and stuff like that, I've got them. So I sort of just keep a good sort of boundary there and just make sure I don't step over it. Especially on social media nowadays, man. Yeah. Social media.
Look at Umar.
Bro, like social media.
That was a tweet from 4 years ago that came to bite him on the ass.
The problem with social media is if they see someone doing well, they'll find some dirt on you. We've all done we've all done something bad. Yeah. I'm not trying to. I'm not even talking about that specific sort of situation with him. Do you understand? But like, We've all done something bad.
No, I've
Nobody here is
I've
clean.
tweeted some crap in my time.
bro.
I mean, if they dig it up, I'm fucked.
Exactly.
But so what?
But the problem is, you have these people who sat in the bedrooms
Yeah.
in their transformer pajamas, as Eddie likes to say.
Transformer pajamas.
And you know, they like to just sort of put people down, man. And
Yeah.
that's the problem. You know, it's becoming such an issue now that the seriousness of it has gone up levels, in the sense that people in the industry have taken it too hard.
So what do you think of that song like a TM Booth then? Now you say that, I mean,
You know what?
is he? Do you take him from the like comedy aspect and say, oh, he's just a comedian, or do you think he's cross? Like, I find this stuff funny, but I do think he crosses the line.
Yeah, of course. Like
the Michelle Joy Phelps,
so,
Terence
look,
Crawford.
look, with Time Booth, right? You look at certain comedians, for example, they're funny,
Yeah.
but they cross the boundary as well. So there's something in there that you think, damn. The thing with Tyne is he's got a specific market that he reaches out to and a specific fan base, and they like stuff. And to be honest, I've seen stuff which I found funny, but then there's certain things that I've seen that I'll be like, you know what, like
Gone too far.
he's gone way too far.
Not even too far. Way too far. Yeah.
The thing is with Tyne is, I can't say nothing about him because he appeals to a certain fan base that
Yeah. True. That like it.
that like it. So
They're
like
going crazy that he's been taken off.
what's
so,
my
yeah.
opinion? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My opinion to tell Tyne or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But for me, at some points I find it funny. At some points I just think, you know, it's gone way over the line. But that's life, man. That's how he deals with him. That's how he deals with him. YouTube is just one of them things where everyone's got a different fan base. People are looking out for different people that they want to sort of promote the stuff to.
Yeah.
It's one of them, man. So
What's your future in it?
in
In YouTube, in boxing,
just keep building, man.
just keep building, growing.
Bro, to be honest, like me and you, like I said, we've known
in the
each
work,
other for
bro.
years, man.
Put in the work,
We've put
dude.
in a lot of
Yeah.
work.
How many videos do you think you've done? Like how many people do you like? How many interviews do you think you've done in 6 years?
Bro, it's crazy.
Like, honestly,
hundreds.
You must be touching 1,000 easily. Yeah. It's crazy. All over the country.
It's mad. Like I said, man, it's a grateful job as well, man. It's something that you would never dream of when you were younger, that you were
At
gonna.
all.
Mate, the fact that you've interviewed people like Anthony Joshua's, you've interviewed.
Doesn't make sense. Being ringside at some of these events and being ringside where obviously you're paying it in a certain way, but you're not buying a ticket to be that close. I mean, you've got as good as a seat as people that are buying VIP tickets and spending thousands. You've got that view.
That, you know what, I'm grateful.
That's
man.
unbelievable,
bro.
isn't it?
Like I'm grateful to God and whatever else, man. That I've got this opportunity to do. So a lot of people want to do what I've done or what I'm doing, to be honest. But man, it's crazy though. Like people don't see the hard work that goes behind it as well.
Yeah.
It's glamorous. It's a glamorous on the eye sort of job, but there's a lot of hard work that goes behind it, man.
And it's difficult just to interview.
Yeah.
Like forget all the extra bits and bobs that go into it. Just to do a good interview isn't easy with these people, especially boxers that are
always
always
learning, man.
wired up.
You're always learning in this game.
Who's the best person you've interviewed? Like who excites you the most when you know I've got to interview that person?
You know what? That overall, I was thinking about this the other day. Overall, it's gonna. I hope nobody says I'm a fanboy, I'm a matchroom boy, but Eddie Hearn's fantastic.
Gives you a lot, doesn't he?
I'm telling
Gives you a lot, doesn't he?
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
You ask him a question. Firstly, you're gonna get at least a 2-minute answer.
Which is every journalist
Yes.
wants that, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Secondly, he says things that sometimes he's not meant to say, but
Yeah.
he lets them out.
Yes.
So like, he's fantastic at doing interviews. In regards to fighters, like I've interviewed a lot of people. So people like sometimes Dylan White's, good to talk to. Dylan White, Dillian, sort of. I've known Dillian.
I done that interview with him for Sky Sports the
Yeah,
other day.
man, he's cool
It
like
gave me
that.
so much. Yeah, it
He's
gave me
cool.
so much.
Anthony Yard I know quite well,
Yeah.
so he normally opens up quite a lot. We have a good sort of banter and stuff. But there's quite a few, man. I just can't think of a lot that come to mind. But like them are the sort of ones. Anthony Joshua's always somebody. He might be hard to get hold of sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not for yourself, but people like us. But when he does interview, he normally gives a good interview as well.
Yeah.
But
That is kind of matching fanboying. They would accuse you. You got yard.
I said Anthony Yard. Watch the comments now. They'll be like, you bought.
They're gonna come for you. All right, let's talk about this coronavirus. Obviously, I feel bad even talking about boxing being missing out because obviously people are dying, people are losing their jobs, people are stranded in countries they don't want to be in. But I guess for us as boxing fans, we missed the sport. 100%. And I remember I saw your tweet about what's coming up in May, and it was ridiculous. Like literally, we had like dream world of fights. It looks like we might not get these fights. You must be sad.
Mate, firstly, it's a very sad situation, regardless of boxing, football, wherever. Just as a human basis, there's people out there who they're dying, man. So it's serious.
Yeah, it is.
The
Did you take it serious from the beginning?
Initially, I don't think a lot of people did.
No, did I?
I don't even think our government did, to be honest.
No,
that's the truth. But like,
That's true. Yeah.
the truth is, it's serious. We need to follow whatever guidelines have been given, and we've got to look after the elderly, man. I was chatting to I went to a press conference the other day, Usyk, Chisora.
Yeah, I tweeted that I was you told me to come. I ain't coming.
And I was just chatting to people there, like a few people in the industry. I was like, we were all talking about how serious this is. And firstly, we need to just make sure the elderly are all right. So if anyone lives near any elderly people, check up on them, man, because this is some serious shit. It's not something that we should take lightly. In regards to boxing, it's sad as well.
I think the only events that we know have been cancelled are the ones in April.
But I don't know how long that's going on. Look about football today. They've actually suspended the 30th of April.
Yeah.
That could actually carry on till we don't know when.
Yeah, but I guess with boxing, I mean, I'm going to... Obviously, you're a big MMA fan. Dana White said Khabib versus Tony will happen no matter what. Like, he said no matter what, even if that fight's on Mars, that fight will happen. So you kind of wonder with some of these big boxing events, especially the pay-per-view ones, that don't necessarily need a crowd to generate money because they're going to generate money from the pay-per-view. Can they be behind closed doors? Can they happen but behind closed doors?
So look, with Khabib and Tony Ferguson, that fight's been called off 4 times.
Oh my God.
Mate, we're talking 2015, Ultimate Fighter, 2016, and then Khabib didn't make the weight in 2017.
Yeah, and then Tony fucked up his leg.
18.
Yeah.
Now we got to 2023, Danger's saying, listen, I'm going to just put in the studio,
honestly,
have you two fight.
He might put it in like the UFC Performance Institute.
That's what
and just get it on. Yeah.
So to be honest, man, like with that fight, personally, it should have happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
postpone it.
The
thing deserves 20,000 in the arena.
It deserves big people watching it. It deserves everyone. It deserves to be. It's one of the best fights in that division ever in UFC. If people don't watch UFC and this fight comes on, guys, please watch it because it's going to be amazing. I beg of you,
watch Khabib versus Tony for something special. Honestly,
it's going to be amazing whenever it happens. But it needs fans, man. It needs people. Like just the atmosphere of a fight night. With such a big fight, it needs that crowd.
I even went to the Olympic qualifiers on Monday, which was the final day. I got sort of cancelled on Monday, and there was no fans there. And that's just Olympic qualifiers. I mean, no disrespect, it wasn't. It felt dead. I was like, my God, this is just. So I can't imagine Khabib versus Tony or Joshua versus Pulev or Chisora versus Usyk with no fans.
Look, I'm a United fan, so obviously me and Eddie sort of have that rivalry anyway. But I watch United.
That's why it's taken him 18 months to get here. His team start winning again. All of a sudden, I'll be around tomorrow.
But I watch, obviously United played in the Europa League, no fans there, and it was dead. You could actually hear Harry Maguire giving Luke Shaw a ball kick. Like that's crazy, how dead it was.
That's crazy.
Mate, to be honest, like I just think things need to be put on hold. And then just once things become better, see what happens.
What for Billy Joe Saunders Canelo then? Because that wasn't even announced. And now they're talking about Canelo versus GGG pretty much done for September. I mean, if say Billy Joe doesn't fight Canelo till July, that's not going to happen then.
No.
Canelo will just wait out for GGG. I wonder if Billy Joe even gets his shot now.
I don't think so.
Jeez.
Honestly, I don't think so.
I can't see it happening
because the more I'm reading into that situation, the more Canelo Golovkin stuff's coming up.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we're starting to see more.
There was all this talk about Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo.
Yes.
So then we finally finalized it to Billy Joe, Canelo.
Yeah.
But the more I'm reading into it now, it's just more Golovkin, Canelo.
That's
and you know
crazy.
what? It's worrying because I really want to see Billy Joe.
So did I. As much as I thought Canelo would win, just from a UK standpoint, just from a stylistic standpoint, just from a legit belt at 168 as well standpoint, I want to see the Billy Joe Canelo
Think of
fight.
the Billy Joe. People are still to see that Billy Joe that everyone says there is a Billy Joe out there. I think it's a fantastic fighter. I think that David Lemieux performance was out of this world. But remember, these things they've all very been in certain periods of Billy Joe's life. Andy Lee, then there was a big gap.
Yeah.
Then there was David Lemieux. Do you understand?
I agree.
With Billy Joe, there hasn't been consistency.
I get shut down when I say this. I agree. Are we judging that Billy Joe can beat Canelo based on a decent performance against Andy Lee? It was decent, but that was Andy Lee's last fight, so that takes a bit of shine off it. And David Lemieux, who we now all agree is like a B-level fighter at best. I mean... But
it's not to say that Billy Joe...
It's there. Everyone says it's there, so it must be there.
I think Billy Joe is probably one of the most skilled fighters in the UK from the talent that we have in Britain.
Yeah, 100%.
But like you can't put an argument forward at this present time to say he beats Canelo.
No one's going to convince me.
Off his resume,
It's
you
not
can't.
happening. I'm not having it. Yeah.
Canelo's resume, regardless of all this beef and whatever, the Mexican beef that...
Let's put that to the side.
Let's put that to the side for now. There's an issue with
We're
that.
going to talk about UK beef in a bit again.
There's an issue with that, but let's put that to the side. His resume is fantastic.
Yeah.
You go through the names, man. Like people from Arizona, Lara, Floyd Mayweather. You're even talking in recent times, man. He's fought Golovkin,
twice.
Dan Jacobs. You know,
Kovalev at 175.
these are big names,
Dude,
man.
it's a ridiculous resume, and that's why I say, are you telling me there's not a style in there that is reminiscent to Billy Joe Saunders' style? Are you telling me that Lara is not as skillful a boxer as Billy Joe Saunders? I'm not having that. I'm just not accepting that at all. Lara was literally as skillful as it gets.
He was avoided by a lot of fighters.
A lot of fighters. So shame for boxing in the next couple of months. Fingers crossed we get some boxing. I don't know how or where or when, but I guess, like Ouney says, the coronavirus is more important than boxing right now. 100%. More important than sport. It's like we're talking people are dying, so that's scary. You mentioned beef there, so I'm going to segue into this next conversation. Okay, obviously, Tyson Fury, for all of you guys that do know, or unless you've been on Mars recently, Tyson Fury tested positive for nandrolone, him and his cousin Hughie Fury back in 2015. Now, the farmer that supposedly at the time provided them with this beef that had nandrolone in it.
I think it was Wild Boar, no?
Wild Boar, you're right, Wild Boar. He's now come out and said, well, I didn't give him the Wild Boar. I lied. They said they were going to give me 25,000. They haven't done it. We now have a bit of drama.
So they should help with this. I know I watched your video on it first of all, and I know you're like a private investigator at boxing division. So anything like this happens, you're gonna be like, you're on it like crazy, yeah. The only reservations I have towards this is firstly the timing.
Firstly, thank you for watching my video.
Yeah,
thank you, much appreciated.
Come on, I've supported this channel for a long time.
Thank you.
2015, this was the claim was that it happened in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
It's taken the guy 4 years. But I'm not saying it's not happened or whatever.
But still,
But these are certain arguments that I will put against it.
Yeah, if you just woken up and realised I didn't get 25 grand in my account. Yeah.
Exactly. So the timing of it for me is like crazy. I don't know, man. Like, it's just the rise of Tyson Fury. He's hit his pinnacle. He's got to the top, and all of a sudden a story is coming out against him. Same thing happened when he beat Klitschko. You know, like different in a different circumstance, in the sense that the UK media sort of really...
They're waiting for him.
They were like hounds.
He could cross the road the wrong way and they would arrest him.
So it just seems crazy like the guy's done it again.
Yeah.
The performance that he put in against Wilder was one of the best performances of in the heavyweight division from one of our guys.
Agreed.
I can't even remember a time.
Can't remember. Honestly, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield.
But nobody expected Tyson Fury to do what he did on the night. I spoke to many fighters. I spoke to loads of people on the night. Interviewed loads of fighters for the 2 months coming up to that fight. Nobody said that Tyson Fury would do what he did on that night. So that's happened now. Tyson Fury is on the top of his game. He's number one heavyweight in the world. There is no one. Anthony Joshua has 3 of the 4 belts and whatever else, right? But in regards to a performance that he's done, Tyson Fury is number one.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Number one and number 2, Tyson Fury. Joshua.
Number one. I'm even me, my Nigerian side, I'm still going to say number one, yeah.
So he's on the pinnacle of his game. Then this story breaks out.
Yeah.
Why didn't this story break out when he was on his comeback call, when he was like, when
could the argument be it wouldn't be a story? Like, it's now a story because, for me, I honestly believe that the guy is a liar, the farmer guy. But I also believe in my heart of hearts that you're not getting nandrolone from that wild boar. I believe there's a lie somewhere. I think there's a lie on both parts. But I agree the timing is obviously a bit dubious because now Tyson Fury is now the king of the heavyweight boxing world, and now you try and take him down. But I remember when that story came out, like I said in my video, I didn't believe it then. I don't believe these wild boar meats, contaminated meats thing. I just don't believe it, any of it. I do believe, I guess I can say this stuff, but I do believe that they cheated. I do believe they cheated, but I don't like the way it's come out now. I do feel that there is this witch hunt against Tyson Fury. I don't know if it's because he's a gypsy, I don't know if it's because he says what he wants, but there's definitely a witch hunt about him. But I definitely believe that nandrolone came from nandrolone and not wild boar meat, put it that way.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a subject. It's a very, this subject.
And it must be difficult for you. That's why I always try. I don't want to put you in a weird position, Jules. Obviously, you go and you go and interview these people. So
the thing is with the situation like this, is boxing is it's a crazy sport. Like stuff like this, you don't know how it gets hidden or you know how what
the rabbit hole is as deep as this rabbit hole can be.
Mate, that if people think boxing is very much a straightforward line, it very much isn't. There's some massive curves in there, man.
Dude,
when you talk about drugs in the industry, it's crazy. Like,
do you think fans care about that as much as they pretend they do? You know, like fans will go crazy for about a day. Right? Jerome. But then everyone tells me. Canelo's a good
situation then. Canelo's a very good example of this topic.
Agreed.
So Canelo,
he cheated.
He cheated.
100%.
Regardless, yeah. He cheated. He got let off lightly. For somebody of his status, he got let off very, very lightly.
What did he get? 6 months ban?
6 months, and he wasn't fighting for 4 of the months anyway. So
that's unbelievable.
So it's mad. So it was a normal layoff for him anyway in between a fight. So yeah, fans are. Mate, at the end of the day, a fan is a fan of a fighter. That's why he's a fan.
That's what it is, isn't it?
So if a fan of Canelo, he'll write stuff and be like, nothing happened, done. It happens.
But even me, I'm a fan of boxing. I'm not necessarily a fan of Canelo. I like him. I think he's a great boxer. I've always said this. So I'm not necessarily a fan of him. But now I'm super excited about Billy Joe Canelo. It's like I've like already, drug test, what? Yeah, move on. It's almost like I completely forgot. Like Jarrell Miller, biggest cheat ever. I now want to see Jarrell Miller versus Dillian White. It's almost like, oh shit, wait a minute, but he failed a drug test. It's like, but
it's true.
Still happened.
That's boxing.
So man. I do wonder if fans scream and shout, but do we really care? I mean, do we just accept that they're all kind of doing something?
Would they rather scream or shout or see that fighter in a good fight with somebody 2 years later, like you just said, Miller, talked about Tyson Fury as well. He failed a drug test. He did fail a drug test. At the end of the day, he failed it.
Yeah.
But he's come back and fought Deontay Wilder. Nobody at that point when he fought Deontay Wilder first time or second time were like, oh mate, he's a drug cheat.
No one even mentioned it, did they?
So like,
that's actually quite interesting. No one actually even mentioned that. No, yeah.
He served his 2 years and whatever else he needs to do. So fair play. He's done his thing. For now, we know that he's clean, or from whatever drug tests have been taken, whatever testing's been done. So he just life carries on in boxing. That's the thing. Life
does carry on. Let's talk about life carrying on. Errol Spence obviously had that crazy accident last year. He's come out today and said that he wants to come back and fight in August after this coronavirus issue and fight Danny Garcia. Good or bad?
Danny Garcia. You know what? Errol Spence, I watched an interview that he did with Showtime when he came back after his accident and whatever else. And he didn't look right.
The one ringside?
Yes. Yeah. He didn't look right to me, man.
At all.
He was slurring on his words. He looked out of shape, which is fine. The guy's come out from a big accident and whatever else.
But you say that, sorry to interrupt you, every single time I see him not in a boxing event, he looks out of shape.
That's a good point as well.
Looks out of shape. Every single time. I've never actually seen him where his face doesn't look a bit puffy. It's like, he's not what I thought he was going to be 4 years ago. I mean, great boxer, but in terms of, I thought it was this really quiet, not getting involved type kid. Like
he's not. You must have seen it. Like after certain fights, he's there drunk with like Adrian Broner and these men are all drunk, and they just
that pack of Javona Davis and sometimes the Charlo twins.
Yeah, so they just all drunk
annoy me
on a fight night that they're not fighting on, and they just get like, it's funny. First of all, I watch some stuff which is funny, but then you think about it, you think you're professional fighters. You rarely see that in the UK. I've covered many fights. I've never seen anyone who's been at a fight, for example, somebody that's not fought, who is high profile, and they've been drunk the way I've seen these.
Just don't see it, do you?
It's crazy. It's
crazy.
Very ill-disciplined.
Yeah.
But that's their life. I'm not going to be like, oh, mate, you need to do this. I'm not an athlete myself.
No, of course not.
But as a fighter, like talking about Errol Spence, going back to your point, that interview that I watched, it sort of sent signals to my head thinking, he's not right.
Yeah.
He wasn't right at all. Like he was slurring on his words. It seemed like he was distracted at the point, which is fair enough. So coming back into such a good, hard fight, Danny Garcia is not somebody...
It's no scrub.
No, man, you can't.
No scrub.
So for me, I think it's firstly like, I think he needs to come in with like a very, very...
I think he should take the whole of 2020 off. Use this coronavirus almost as an excuse to say, you know what, we're going to write off 2020.
100%. I think so. If he does want to come back into boxing this year, he needs to take an easier fight than that. And I know people are going to be like, oh, but as fans want to see the biggest fights. But sometimes you've got to think about the fighter who's come off such a crazy... Like he could have died, to be honest. It's a crash that we saw. So if he does come into it slowly, no need to rush anything. He's still quite young anyway.
Let's start on some bad news this week. Death of Roger Mayweather. And last week, the week before, didn't Floyd Mayweather's baby mother pass away as well.
It's been a bad time for Floyd.
Crazy.
Man. Very bad time.
Crazy. There was talk about Floyd coming back in 2020. I don't know if that was for whatever.
So I think
That's done now.
I read something on TMZ Sports.
Yeah.
They're normally quite close with the.
I fucking hate them, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever you think of them, they do get this.
they get it, don't they? They get it. They get it straight away. But they just.
But they reported today
Yeah.
that Floyd was planning to come back in 2020, but it looks like that's off because of these two tragedies. Obviously, we've got to say rest in peace to Roger Mayweather.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's been in Floyd's corners ever since Floyd was an amateur. So he's been part of that Floyd Mayweather setup since day.
Yeah.
I think he revolutionized sort of the pad work that people do nowadays. They copy the
Funny,
Mayweather.
innit? Funny.
Do you understand?
It's
I think actually,
you're so right. I can't think of. Obviously, I'm not a historian. I don't pretend to be, but I can't think of anyone before that was doing that kind of pad work that he was doing.
So Anthony Yard put something up because Tunde and Anthony Yard sort of do this sort of the similar sort of pad work, and he said it as well. The thing is with this, whatever you think of that sort of pad work, it doesn't really matter in the sense that he sort of brought this into the game, which a lot of people seem to be doing, and it seems to work for him.
Yeah,
I'm not a boxer, you're not a boxer, so we can't really say what it works on. Does it work on the mind more than it does about the ring? You know, I've seen that, for example, that pad work, I've seen Anthony Yard do it, but then I've seen him do normal pad work as well.
Yeah.
So he gets, you know, there's all these comments about him doing this pad work, is it effective or whatever else, but then he does normal pad work anyway.
You know, I'm so happy you just touched on that, and we're going to go back to Roger Mayweather. I'm so happy you just said that, because I've tried to defend, because I had Tunde here as well, and I've tried to defend what he does in the gym, and I'm like, you guys have not been to the gym. You see a 2-minute clip of him doing that, and you think that's all they do? Do you think Tunde's that dumb? Like, he does real pad work, he does sparring sometimes as well.
He does.
I think people just get carried away with a clip which shows that, and think that's all they do. They do way more than that.
I've been in that camp, so I've been with Tunde and Anthony Yard countless times. I've been like, I can actually just go into the gym. Me and Anthony have sort of good relationship. We talk and whatever, and he's like, come down whenever you want. So I've been down many a times, and I'm telling you, the guy works his bollocks off. That's the truth. Like I've got a video on my phone where it's actually quite disgusting because it makes me sick just like watching it. Yard takes his t-shirt off and he goes, and you know oh mate,
just sweat.
It makes me sick looking at it. But the guy who works his ass off. So people are going to naturally watch this minute clip and talk. But going back to Roger Mayweather, mate, it's so sad.
Do they know what he passed away of? Is it been spoken?
But I think I watched an interview within the last 12 months and he wasn't well at all. I can't remember who did the interview. I think it might have been someone like Helen Yu Sports, something like that, someone in America.
It's weird that we start to see less and less of him without even realising. I started to see, I remember seeing Jeff Mayweather because of that channel where he used to go around in the minute. And then I remember always used to seeing Roger give his opinion. Then I started to see less and less of that. And I never ever thought anything was wrong. I just thought maybe because he's not training other fighters, I thought that was it. But obviously he was ill behind the scenes.
It's sad, man. It is sad. At the end of the day, he was a great fighter.
Which people forget about as well.
He was a fighter, and then he bought probably one of the best ever fighters to ever bless boxing. So,
and he gave us some great one-liners as well. You don't know shit about boxing. That's the greatest.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah,
so we've got to sort of give a salute to Roger Mayweather.
Yeah, and hopefully, or HBO are not obviously in boxing anymore, but hopefully PBC, Top Rank, Al Haym, whatever, do something for that, because obviously he's fought for all of those guys, or Floyd's fought for those as well. So very, very sad news. All right, let's talk boxing in general. Let's look at some fights that hopefully will happen. They've been rescheduled anyway. Yeah. What's your opinion on Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce?
Daniel Dubois, a great fight.
Yeah,
it's honestly a great fight. Regardless of you being British or not, you could watch that in America and be like, this is going to be a good fight. Because...
Are they top 20, top 50? Where are they in your...
Daniel Dubois for me is top... I'd say top 15.
Top 15. Joe Joyce?
Joe Joyce, possibly just underneath him.
Really, yeah? Underneath as in higher or like top 13 or lower? Top 16, top 17?
I'd say top 20.
So both of them top 20?
Yeah, so they're within the same...
Both around the same, yeah. That means it is a very close fight between a guy that you think could be like 15 and one guy could be 16, 17.
For example.
We're close,
But the fight is fantastic. Like, you've got Daniel Dubois, young, powerful, has a bit of speed on him. Very raw at the moment. He had a great performance against Nathan Gorman, and I didn't think he would pull out that performance, because I watched him against Kevin Johnson in Leicester, and you know, there was a lot of question marks. He couldn't break down this veteran. I was thinking, is this all he's got? Is he one-dimensional? Is he a very much a straightforward fighter? If he doesn't land a shot, does he get frustrated? What does he do? But then against Nathan Gorman, he sort of won a lot of fight fans over that
night.
Great performance. Then you got Joe Joyce, who's
Do you think, going back to that actually, so he's gone from Nathan Gorman and then he's done Latte, Tete, Fujimoto. Is Frank Mr. Trick here? It's almost like he's gone Nathan Gorman, which got load of plaudits, and then he's put him in with guys that are just punching bags. No disrespect to those guys, they are. Fujimoto, I mean, I could do Fujimoto. Yeah. I'm convinced. Give me a couple months in the gym, I could do Fujimoto. I mean, why has he done that? Why has he literally gone from that to that?
I don't know, man. Like,
it's Frank fucking hell.
Sometimes you've got to... I don't even know. It's such a question mark on that because it makes sense. Okay, you fought Gorman.
Yep.
To have a, you're still young.
You got to have one. Yeah. After.
But then there was questions because there was 3.
Yeah.
Do you get me? There was questions because there was 3.
Why have you done 3?
None of them. Like, mate, we watch boxing. Yeah. I never heard of any one of them fighters, and that's the truth.
None of them. Which one of them was it Latte that gave him a little bit of a...
Yeah, Latte
had a go, didn't he? Latte had a go at least.
So respect to Latte for that.
Yeah, respect, yeah.
But now it's a serious fight. I think George Joyce is he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He's... people are going to call him slow, but he's got some dirty power. That's
the way he works.
Dirty power.
That's the way he works as well. He works slow. I think I've dissed him many a time on this channel. Like he actually walks like he's moving in treacle.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously slow, but it's effective. He's a juggernaut. He's got a gas tank. He's strong. He's big. He's as big, if not a bit bigger than Joe Joyce. Sorry, Daniel Dubois. I love it. I love this matchup.
Question for you then.
Go on.
What do you make of him changing trainers for such
I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea what he's doing. Not only have he changed trainers, I've said this, he is like a homeless person right now. He has no home.
Yeah.
He has changed trainers, he has changed promoters, he has changed managers, he has changed networks. Literally, he's only been a pro since 2017 after the 2016 Olympics. So we're talking 2.5, 3 years, and this guy has changed trainer like 3 or 4 times.
Salas, Abel Sanchez,
Adam Booth,
and now
back with Salas. He's been with David Hay. I don't even know when that ended. All I remember was David Hay chasing him and Chisora.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Sam Jones came from nowhere. Yeah. I'm like, who's this fucking midget? Like, who's he? And now we know that's changed. He's fought on Matchroom shows. He's fought in America on Showtime. Now he's fighting on BT Sports. And he's done that Dave show because of David Hay early in his career.
So the first
he needs a home. And he needs a broadcaster to get behind him big time. Because obviously on this, he's the away fighter. I know they're both signed to Frank, but he's the away fighter.
Who was Frank's number 1, number 2 project. Him and Anthony Yoder, the main boys for Frank now.
So it's going to be interesting. He needs this win massively.
And
massively.
I think...
Danny Dubois can lose and still come back again, by the way.
Yeah, of course. But I think a win for Joyce would catapult him to actually fighting the top boys. The problem with Joyce is, and I've already said this, Eddie Hearn has got the majority of the heavyweights.
Yeah.
You go through the heavyweight
at every level as well.
The only person that's not with Eddie Hearn in the top 10,
Wilder and Fury.
Wilder, Fury,
and then connections.
Go down the list.
Ruiz,
only Ruiz, and then you got
Ortiz. That's it. The rest are all connected.
Two, yeah. Now, but you look at the list that Eddie Hearn's got. He's got a phenomenal list.
You're going to get Matchroom fanboys.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's in the set.
It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. Mate. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
But what I'm saying is, like, maybe for him not to be affiliated with one promoter might be actually good for him. You understand? Yeah. That the fact that he can maybe go on a Matchroom show and then the next fight after that could be on a Frank Warren show.
Because you look at it, you beat a Dubois for him, and then I wouldn't say you go to the Dillian White levels, but if Povetkin loses, you can go Povetkin. You go Parker, you go Hunter. Yeah. Hunter big. Those are the kind of guys that I think are in and around the top 10 that would be good matchups for him. Whereas if you stay with Frank, and I'm not saying he should go anywhere, I'm not saying that, people. If you stay with Frank, who do you fight? I mean, we've seen it with Frank now, and I don't want to diss Frank, but I mean, Josh Warrington went. Billy Joe Saunders went. Liam Smith went. Even, what's that kid that's just gone recently as well? Oh, in the last sort of week or so.
Zelfa Barrett.
Yeah. They're all flipping, all of them are literally going.
I don't know,
It's crazy.
You know what, Frank's mate, for me, he's a great promoter.
Oh, he's a Hall of Fame promoter.
Legend
Hall of Fame promoter. But
I just think at this point of his, I think there's cycles when it comes to promotional games. Yeah. You have a good stable, and sometimes you go down and you go up, you go down and you go up.
But boxers don't have time to wait for cycles. That's why I'm all for. So I'm not at all for loyalty in boxing. I've said that already. If you're a heavyweight boxer and you're getting punched in the face for a living, you go where the money is 100%. Now. I'm sorry, that's all you should think
we can be sat here doing this Yeah, we're comfortable. We're not getting punched.
I get a bit of an abuse. I get a couple of dislikes. That I can take that.
100%. People are at home in front of their laptop talking about boxing. We're all
Fine.
we're all good guys. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean? We're sat here. The people that are taking punches to the head, we
I'm
can't
sorry.
question their decisions, man.
No.
Because these people are putting their lives on the line.
I'm telling you.
So when they say they want to move from A to B, because firstly they're going to make more money, respect them, because they deserve to. Fighters deserve to get paid good money,
mate. What people understand is not every fighter is going to be like an AJ or even a Conor Ben that you come through straight away and get some
they
decent
say
money.
90% of fighters have to have a second job.
Crazy.
It's only like a 10% of the world fighters, maybe pushing 12-15% of world fighters that can actually have boxing as a sole job.
I know world champions, fact, that have earned £50,000
Yeah.
for a fight. What a world fucking champion. What? So you've reached the pinnacle of your sport, pinnacle, and you're only getting 50 grand. And people might say, yeah, but other sports are the same. You don't get punched in the face in other sports. So people might say, okay, but badminton's the same. Well, it's not the same, is it?
But the thing is, boxing has been around for so long. Like, you got to remember, boxing is not just coming. It's not UFC. It's not just come around the corner like 20, 30 years ago or whatever. Boxing
Over
has been
100
around.
years.
We're talking about over 100 years.
Yeah.
So for it to naturally progress, the money will progress. For the sport to go on certain platforms, the money will progress with it. So you understand why people should get paid more.
Absolutely get paid off.
UFC is a question mark for me, and they don't get paid enough.
They don't get paid enough, but then it's a new sport.
Yeah.
But
So
they know it. They're nowhere near getting paid
no
enough.
way.
Nowhere near. All right, let's move on quickly. Chisora versus Usyk. Tough fight. You were at the press conference. A lot of people, I'll give my honest opinion. I know it might be difficult for you to.
Okay.
A lot of people think that Usyk just wins comfortably points. If I'm honest with you, they think he wins points. I kind of look at it and think Chisora's big, he could land and all that stuff, but then I just think Usyk's just skills pay the bills.
Mate, for me, I think Usyk has the skills to cause upset in the heavyweight division. I really do. I think, you know what, the guy's a fantastic fighter.
Confidence as well. Isn't he?
You know what, we've known
fucking
that
taking selfies. How dare he?
He's
How dare
fantastic.
he?
He doesn't speak English that well, but he's fantastic. Yeah. The fact that he's going to go against his big boys, his next fight after this fight could be Joshua.
Yeah, could be, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. And who would rule him out beating Joshua?
Mate, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't, because I think he's he's from that camp of the Lomachenko camp.
That's that
These
guy.
people are skilled. They've been fighting since they were kids. Like,
They
this
do
is-
weird type of training techniques that no one just gets, yeah.
So Usyk, for me, I think he's such an enigma in the heavyweight division that you don't know what you're going to get, but this Chisora fight is going to tell us everything. Can he... First of all, Chisora's a come forward fight. We know how he fights. He's more a brawler than he's a boxer.
Yep.
I just think Usyk's made for that style. Back foot,
Easy,
bam, bam,
innit?
bam,
Easy. Just
move.
pick him off. Just pick him off.
The question mark will be, if Chisora lands one on him, how does Usyk react? That's the only thing that I'm going to be...
That is it, innit? That is
for
the
me,
only
that's
thing.
that's for me.
By the way, it's funny because only in recent times have I thought Chisora was a big puncher. I've never before thought Chisora was a big puncher.
No.
I mean, he hits hard, but you don't look at him as this one punch KO.
He's not.
He's not, is he? He's not.
He's not. But the thing is, because Usyk's moving up to a heavier division, just the fact that Chisora's power, I'd just like to see what he does. Then he's got to move to Joshua, who's got serious power.
Yeah, yes.
Then it's
And Joshua's a better mover.
Yeah, of
better
course.
technically a better boxer than Chisora as well. So it will be question marks. I was watching a Floyd Mayweather interview with Fighthype actually, and they were talking to him about that, like fighting guys that are brawlers and fighting guys that are fast. And he says, "Oh, timing." He made it sound like it's so obvious, like, "Oh, timing." And I think Usyk just working him out after the first 4 or 5 rounds, thinking, "Oh, you're just doing the same thing. You're doing this thing that you do, and I'm just going to time you." And once I get my timing, like he did against Tony Bellew, took a few rounds, you're done.
See, with Usyk, people are going to be like, he fought Witherspoon a couple of months ago. Chaz.
Yeah.
Mate, I got Tim Witherspoon's a
Yeah,
he's an
yeah.
actor or something, he's some sort of radio guy. He fought him, and people are like, oh, we're not convinced by that performance at all. The thing is, at certain times in certain people's careers, they're not going to get up for a fight.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sure. I'm 100% sure he never got up for that fight.
Yeah.
Usyk. He just thought, I'd beat him comfortably. A bit of complacency on his side. Should I be more convincing? Yeah, I think.
What about the fact that it's been nearly one fight in nearly a year and a half?
Of course.
That's
obviously a big
that's
thing.
the issue. And he's not young.
Yeah,
I think he's 35,
he is. Yeah.
which is, and a couple of injuries. Like these pullouts have
That's
been
the
through
problem,
injuries
though.
as well. So we're talking, it's almost like the Loma thing as well now, where you almost feel like age and injuries are going to get them, nothing else. And I'm starting to see it with Loma, where people are starting to catch up because of injuries and weight as well, going up in weight. Like Usyk, you almost feel like when they're at their natural best, which is a cruiserweight and maybe even a super featherweight, untouchable. when they're trying to jump the weights and take on guys that are really naturally much bigger.
You know, it's a good point. It's a very good point because Usyk did what he did. He was at the top, undisputed.
Yes.
He was the man that everyone was talking about.
Yes.
He got into the top 5 pound for pound because of what he did.
That World Boxing Super Series.
And then all of a sudden it's just gone boom.
Boom.
It has actually, and that's a very good.
It's literally
it's
dropped
a very
off the
good
cliff.
point.
He was fighting every 5-6 months.
Now we'll see.
Now we'll see.
That's actually a very good point.
Now we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. All right, last couple. Joshua Pulev. I have to get your take on that. If it happens, fingers crossed it happens. I mean, I read somewhere randomly the other day, don't quote me on this, the fight could happen in Rwanda. I'm not even joking. I read this fight could be staged in Rwanda, which is probably some bullshit, just because they want the fight to happen. And Rwanda's the same kind of time zone as the UK.
Okay.
So pay-per-view wise, it's still going to do exactly the same, if not more, because everyone wants content.
Mate, I'd put my house on it that it doesn't.
I'd put every single thing on it that this fight happens in the UK, and they will postpone
I watched
it.
Sky Sports today. I think they were saying maybe like mid-July. They've got to basically wait.
I like the way you point at me now, Sky Sports. I love it.
Sky Sports, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm on all next week, by the way, Sky Sports. I am all next week. Yeah, show. They're doing a new show, so I'm on all next week.
I'll be watching that.
Thank you.
But they're saying that they've got to wait for the season to finish. Obviously, today Premier League have announced.
Oh, so we were saying this fight might happen to August, September then.
So we don't know because they've extended the season until it finishes. So we don't know when the season finishes. They're probably
unless they move to another stadium.
Eddie will look at another stadium.
He's got to. He's got to.
There's no chance he's.
Why not Wembley? He's got to go back to Wembley.
Yeah, 100%.
There must be an issue there. I don't know what's going on. It's like he's not fought Wembley since the Povetkin fight, September 2018.
That's a good point, actually.
Do you think we get to see old Joshua in terms of destructive, man mountain, nearly 18 stone, or do we get to see this skinny Joshua,
I think
16 stone 10?
I think we'll see a bit of both. I think a good Joshua will be a bit of both. I think when Joshua was coming up and he was this destructive fighter, there was a lot of flaws, and a lot of people know that there was flaws.
Super amount of flaws.
Yeah, and that's not me saying I watched a lot of Joshua's fights. I think he's a fantastic fighter. Don't get it wrong. I think he's a fantastic fighter. But there was flaws there. And Ruiz sort of showed the flaws to the world and whatever else. Then Joshua came back, brought in Angel Fernandez and a few other people into the camp, changed his style a little bit. So I think a mixture of them two styles would suit Joshua.
And I guess that mixture of the two styles is what we got with, just name dropping here, with Klitschko and Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
When they both suffered defeats, we started to see more defensive both, but then also we saw a better offensive. Klitschko's jab became the best jab in heavyweights, you know what I mean? The same as Lennox Lewis. Joshua has that kind of same build, Olympic gold medalist like them both as well.
The next
fight, similarities.
It'll be interesting because Pulev's not a pushover. Like don't get me wrong, he's good at his basics.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like Pulev's,
I think got the best jab in heavyweight boxing.
So he's got amazing jab. Like so, how does Joshua overcome these? Is he going to move a little bit? Is he going to be able to land one on him? Is he going to stop him? Pulev's not. He's a hard fighter to stop. He's not somebody that.
No, Pulev ain't a joke,
He isn't.
I think is it because there's so many casual boxing fans in the world nowadays that as soon as we mention Pulev, I think their voice is louder than hardcore's. Yeah. So everyone's like, it's crap, but the hardcore boxing fans are like, it's not a crap fight.
No, it's not.
Joshua Pulev ain't crap, but the casuals are like, it's not Wilder or Fury.
Pulev's a tougher. Would you say before Ruiz fought Joshua?
Yeah, no. Pulev's tougher than Ruiz. But how fucking fast is that little fat kid? His hands are so fast, it's mental.
The only reason I'd say that is because at that time, Ruiz was like in and out. He had been top rank at PBC and he was just like all over the show. Nobody knew where he came from.
Wasn't quite sure what was going on.
Pulev has actually been fighting.
Pulev is like an established top 10 heavyweight. He's been that for like 10 years.
He has.
Only lost once, that was the Vladimir Klitschko. Beat Huey Fury, I know people might not say much about that. Beat Chisora as well when Chisora went over there. So he's done what he needed to do. It's a big step up for him, but again, this is a different Joshua. This is a Joshua that I still think has question marks.
But I do think
question marks.
I do think Joshua does beat him. I think this AD that we're going to see now, I think we're going to see something.
Will we see an undisputed fight ever in our lifetime? It's not going to happen, is it?
I don't. These big fights have just not taken place recently, have they? How many fights have we wanted to watch? Canelo Golovkin's the only one that I can remember that people I wanted to watch has taken place.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia Loma didn't take place. No. Spence Crawford never going to take place. So in the last, Calm Brook.
Waiting for the last.
Calm Brook.
Yeah, man, that one's been.
What the fuck?
And I don't want to watch it no more. That's the truth. I'm done with it, man. I'm done with it. That should just be done because both fighters are what they are now.
That's a disgrace that fight didn't take place. I've made about 20 million videos on that subject. It's a fucking disgrace. And I do blame Emir Khan a lot more than Cobra, but I blame both of them to a point. But that's a disgrace that fight in place. Let's quickly jump to UFC before we close, because I know he's a massive UFC fan, or MMA fan like I am. Will we ever get to see Israel Adesanya versus John Jones?
I'm thinking maybe about 18 months to not now, not anytime soon.
Anytime soon.
I think John Jones said not anytime soon as well.
It's weird though, because John Jones clearly doesn't want to go to heavyweight. No. I think we know that. He doesn't, right? Has his problems at light heavy now. And Israel Adesanya is running out of opponents at middleweight. There's Paulo Costa next, possibly, fingers crossed, if he passes the drug test.
That's a good fight though, man.
Great fight. Paulo Costa could beat him.
Well, I think Paulo Costa
could beat him. I thought Romero was going to beat Adesanya, if I'm honest with you.
I thought Paulo Costa, before he got injured, gave...
Romero, such a good fight,
Well, amazing fight.
Good fight.
He was beating him, man. And then
but they're all on... He looks like he's not...
He looks like he's on some good stuff.
He looks like he's on some good stuff, boy. Can you send that stuff over here? Because summer's coming. It looks like he's on some bloody good stuff. But you are a big UFC fan, aren't you?
You know what? I wasn't about 6 years ago. I was mainly into boxing.
Yeah.
I've got to say, man, I was one of them fanboys that came in with the Conor McGregor buzz and whatever.
Yeah.
But I've just learnt a lot over the last couple of years, man. So
you've been doing some videos for it, haven't you?
Yeah,
I've seen you doing some content.
So I've got a YouTube channel called Fight Club Chronicles. Shameless plug
Fight
there,
Club
guys.
Chronicles.
Make sure you check it out. I'm doing
£10, please.
So I'm doing documentaries. I'm doing stuff like that. I was in with Angel Fernandez the other day. So I'm getting his story and stuff on how he started. I'm starting to do stuff like that. So guys, watch it if you get time, and make sure you subscribe. Whatever else. But yeah, man, UFC's been it's just been crazy. Like the whole BMF. Masvidal.
That was fantastic.
It's been that for me was like
fantastic.
This is what UFC is. Like,
how have they created these characters that boxing can't create? By the way, I'm not joking.
No,
like Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, Conor McGregor, Khabib, Tony. That's 5, all in and around the same weight class, and all 5 are different. Completely. All of them are like pay-per-view stars themselves, 100%. And 100%. All of them are completely different characters.
I just think
it's unbelievable. It's fantastic.
UFC have come into the market very, very, like in the last 20, 30 years, right? But what they've been doing has been revolutionary. Like, I even spoke to Eddie Hearn at one point about 2 years ago, and I was watching boxing press conferences and I was watching UFC press conferences, and I was like, mate, there's such a difference. So I spoke to Eddie Hearn, asked him the question about, like, have you ever looked at the UFC as a model to sort of follow your press conferences? Because they are boring. Like,
dude, they're the worst. Not even just the press conferences, sorry. Even just the promos for fights. UFC think outside the box with their promos, like the BMF thing, for example.
Man, fantastic.
Boxing promos are just the same crap.
And I think, have
you not thought of getting involved in helping create some sort of promos and doing some stuff behind the scenes?
I'd like to.
Yeah, I would like to. It's just the same crap.
I would like to, because UFC are just, when it comes to stuff, like, for example, the UFC YouTube channel, and I think Matchroom have taken this.
Have you noticed that?
I've always said it. I've always said 2 things in boxing. Fighters don't know how to promote themselves.
Yep.
Because the amount of social media that is available, I feel like only person that's got it right at the moment is Anthony Joshua. He's got his YouTube channel going. He's got
Even I felt like Dillian Whyte, when he was doing it with you, was putting some content out. Now that dried up, and now he's trying to start again.
Now I'm talking to him again. So hopefully we can do stuff.
Get him on the green show, please. I won't talk about B-Sub.
Right.
Done.
And yeah, man. So it's that whole Matchroom copying the UFC YouTube channel just shown me already that UFC has got the promotion is just too good, man. Like, you've been watching UFC and you know how good.
I've been watching it for years, and it's just, I just think the promotion is just unbelievable. Honestly, I just think it's through the roof, and I think we know it's through the roof when you see what they do with their female fighters.
100%.
One thing that boxing has struggled, and they're trying their hardest with Clarissa Shields and Katie Taylor and Serrano. People still aren't interested in female boxing. People are so interested in female MMA.
100%. Ronda Rousey, first of all, respect. She started off this whole revolution and this progression of MMA.
Yeah, of it being,
But now you look at Amanda Nunes.
Nunes.
If anyone knows combat sport, you put Clarissa Shields and Amanda Nunes, and a lot of people will tell you they've heard Amanda Nunes more than they've heard about Clarissa Shields.
That says a lot.
That says a lot, because...
And we're talking about Clarissa Shields, the double Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, mate.
A 4-weight world champion now, a 3-weight world champion. Unbeaten. And you honestly, you go out into the combat world and ask the 2 names. 100%. And man, and look at the fight the other day between Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
God. Like, guys, if you haven't watched that fight, honestly watch the fight, because that
can't
for me
believe that.
was just like
There's the level of striking in that fight for 5. That's another thing as well. And this is what boxing has a problem with. In MMA, the men do what the women do. Sorry, the women do what the men do. 5 minutes, 5-minute rounds. Boxing, why are females still doing 2-minute rounds?
I still don't get it.
And in the Olympics, qualifiers, they do 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So in the Olympics, the females are doing 3-minute rounds. In professional boxing, 2-minute rounds. Don't get it.
It's true though. Like you look at the levels of professional fighting in women's in UFC, MMA, and you look at in boxing. You look at boxing, for example. You got Katie Taylor. You could pick names on your fingers.
Yeah.
Who are the top level
Yeah,
fighters?
so Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields, Cecilia Brækhus, and then you start scratching your head.
Yeah.
I know a few, but in terms of what they would know.
But when you go to UFC, and if you know your UFC, you can pick up. There's a lot of fighters.
There's a lot of fighters.
Like Zhang Weili's come in and she's like, mate, people are looking at her like.
She's going to be a superstar. Joanna's going to be a superstar.
Amanda's
Rose
just-
Namajunas.
Amanda's
there. Cyborgs there.
Mate,
They're moving.
Shevchenko, there's a lot.
They're moving. Oh, she's very good, Valentina Shevchenko.
She's fantastic,
Fucking hell.
man, fantastic fight. So when it comes to promotion of female boxing, I just feel like it's so far behind.
It's dead.
It's so, and the fact is that they're headlining shows with female fighters and stuff, but sometimes it's just not working, man. Like I don't know what the way forward is. I'm not a promoter. I don't know what the way forward is, but I just hope something works out because UFC.
Well, the fact is that we're saying that men's promotion is bad, so you can imagine how bad we then think women's like they're getting the men's promotional side wrong, and we don't know 90% of the boxers over here. 100%. So you can imagine, like, the boxers don't help themselves in terms of promotion. I don't think, like you said, they don't have social media page. How can you be a professional boxer and not have a social media page?
Mate, I've said to certain fighters, and I've sat down with them. I'm like, mate, you need to just sort out your self promotion because, like I said, most fighters are not making money. Yeah. They're not making serious money for them to quit.
I would happily start interviewing fighters on this channel, like low level ones. I don't mean to be rude, but I say low level. Just guys coming through that just want to talk about their story, and that will get them. I'm not that. I've got a lot of subscribers, but it will get them some sort of traction.
It's a good channel to promote on, 100%. I do think that.
I charge them though.
Good luck with that.
Got to make money in it.
One thing I've learned, mate, a lot of fighters are very tight-pocked.
Yeah, we'll see what I can do. But no, Ouney, guys, Ouney Abbas. What's your social medias?
Ouney86, so OUNEY86 on Twitter, Instagram. Follow my YouTube channel, Fight Club Chronicles. I work for Seconds Out, Pro Boxing Fans, and whoever else calls me. So if anyone needs a job and wants anyone to do any interviewing, give me a shout.
Honestly, for
as
real.
well.
Honestly,
but it's been a pleasure, man. It's been
great.
Dude,
I don't know, we should probably do that. That's it. That's my hands, just in case. I'm going to take him to wash his hands as he leaves the house because I don't want to spread coronavirus. But Ouney, honestly, brother, your journey, I know you talk about my journey, which I appreciate all the time. He always gives me compliments about my journey, but I think your journey, because I know what you guys do, because I've done it, and I still do it sometimes. Trust me, to still do this for as long as he's been doing it, fucking hell, he must have grey hairs underneath that hat because it's not easy. That's why I'm wearing the hat. That's why I'm bald-headed. It is not easy. And as soon as we finish this, I'm going to grill him about doing it himself and what else he can do as well. So Ouney, thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll be back on soon.
Fingers crossed he will be. Peace, people. Peace. Guys, sorry, it's me again. I'm back. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, please like and share the videos. It really does help the channel a lot. And if you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, I'm done. Peace.